Episode 5, last episode, he saw Stitches, who's pretty infamous in
Yeah.
Duskwood as a really big elite that kills lower levels, because it's actually pretty cool when we get there, you'll see, but some crazy wizard creates him, and then he goes and attacks the main town in that zone, and everyone, all the NPCs are yelling about it, like, he's destroyed the camp, and he's coming, and all this, and it's a big thing, so.
Attention gamers, previously on my hardcore WoW journey in Only Fangs, I visited the land of the big sexy elves to help an old friend get his pimping business off the ground by trying to cure one of his lazy employees who was also his daughter. Howard and I had a brief breakup where I had a one-night stand with a burnt pig named Belly Grub before reuniting with my favorite black swine and letting him get his revenge. We had our first guild meeting, to which I still miss those brain cells I lost during that 3-hour Rage Yelp festival. I entered the deadly forest where a patrolling diabetic elite jizz stain kills dozens of half AFK players every day, and I decided that I would be the one to stand up to him. Psych, it was all for the clip. Take notes, lazy ho. That's how to be a proper hooker. And while I promise you'll see the
I was gonna
epic
say,
battle with
Wiley
the
was
Stitch
on a
bitch soon enough, I had
cliffhanger.
some dangerous matters to attend to before.
That was funny.
I first had to find the proverbial Vladimir Putin of the Red Ridge Canyons, euthanize the rabbit and bring its paw back to some bumbling muppet, and while this mage wanted help, I wanted my glory, so my plan was to path through the low-level simp bunnies in a way where his younger ass couldn't follow, but he arrived in time to ask me to make this assassination into a group project. I remember how I felt when that Chinese bot gave me the shaft on the beach, so I let my people-pleasing personality get in the way of glory, but I figured I would get an intellect buff out of it, only to stand there waiting to be blessed like I was speaking a different fucking language before eventually deeming it a lost cause, just confirming that the biggest noobs play mages in this game.
Outstanding!
Anyways, the leveling guide that my virgin ass paid money for was now telling me to skip the next quest if I lack confidence, and I'm thinking clearly Tommy Salami doesn't read the papers if he thinks that I think I'm a bitch, but I quickly learned it's because between the groups and the patrols you can quickly find yourself in a worse spot than a raw cucumber in an all-female prison, and this proved to be the case during one fight, when Howard chose to be negligent after I told him to come back to me, deciding to invite the entire neighborhood over to say hey, and this was going to be the end. I thought my piece of shit pig was low. I had 2 on me with a caster coming, and there were logistical issues with my escape route, but that's when I remembered the wise words of Papa Soda.
Target dummies are required.
I didn't know what that meant.
So, target dummy, don't you watch the very videos that I post to our own channel? But no, target dummy is an engineer. It's one of the professions. So how herbalism is a profession, we're gonna get you herbalism. I got my guy in hardcore. It's important. You get engineering, and you can make little mechanical gizmos. One of the gizmos is a target dummy. So you build it and you have it, and then what you can do is anytime you can put it down, and it sort of gets the aggression of any enemies in the area to attack it.
Got it. So that leader of the party was like, hey, everyone needs to have this.
As in, everyone's dying. You need target dummies. It's a way to get out of shit.
Yeah.
Because you can run and put that
Okay.
down.
It's bought me enough time to survive, and then
There's
even
this
though
dummy.
Howard wasn't as lucky, a sexy elf who identifies as a cat agreed to be my interim pet until the battle was over.
My interim pet.
Needless to say, I expected more out of Howard, but I also knew I was just as much to blame for being a bad trainer. This was where I lost my macro writing virginity, jotting down 2 genius lines of Elon Musk quality code that will one day save me and my raid from Howard's occasional attitude problems, and like a true software engineer I had to test my code. Howard sendeth, Howard come backeth, I would say, to ensure it would work, and after 2 minutes of feeling like a code hacker genius, I was ready to fuck up Fanglore. This quest is supposed to be hard, but something about the adrenaline from my near-death experience and the confidence I got from writing code so good it could probably self-drive cars with a few more lines. This whole battle
love
was
that.
easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. But me gracefully moonwalking through content was about to end, as my own survival was now going to rely on some random normies I hired off the streets to fight in the Red Ridge War against these trend-taking ogres, and considering our first pull was less organized than Asmongold's bedroom, I had my concerns. The mage was polymorphing targets with 3% health, and the warlock was playing his own solo adventure and fearing his mob into other orcs when he wasn't too busy disconnecting from the McDonald's Wi-Fi, so let's just say we weren't going to be pushing arena rating with this motley crew. but as a League of Legends player I'm used to dealing with inbred donkey teammates, and so I figured I would just show how equipped I am to properly lead in a way that Ampi could only dream of. Assassination numero uno was in the books, and my second task with these twerps was to loot orbs off of the jacked ones wearing dresses.
1, 2, 3.
But for a lack of better words, shit got real when we entered the castle. Another group was trying to rescue Fiona Slay the Dragon too, and I decided to be chivalrous while arranging a safe plan to collude so that everyone would get their nut. This was great until we somehow nabbed the tag and they got pissy and decided to flee the crime scene. What started as a 2-group raid to kill a single elite mob was now a board-certified fuck fest, and there were about to be casualties.
No, I was just gonna say, he better not die.
Any chance of receiving heals a pipe dream. He had 2 on him with 4 health when I randomly had a revelation.
Target dummies.
I pinned that shit like a tail on a donkey, watched the focus target of Angry Orc number 4 swap to it, and I'm proud to say, we all survived the epic shitfest of Stonewatch Keep.
Wow.
Legend has it that other group who abandoned
Thank
ship
you,
is
stud.
still
No problem.
fleeing like vaginal cowards to this day.
Big frickin' dick.
At this point I had to head back to the laggy city because some shit was going down in the Stormwind basement and some arrogant douchebag needed help.
You probably won't make a difference.
Turns out the refugee Defias shitstains from the gang war I won in Westfall were captured and being held down there to serve as the presumptuous royal family slaves, and yes, I'm allowed to say that because they were all white. The orders were to slaughter these shitters, and aside from a slight disagreement on how fast or slow we should be doing it, as if my group was a married couple arguing in the bedroom, the mission was a great success.
I must say, after a half hour, I hardly expected you to come out.
I wanted to tell that one-eyed bastard that it was actually only 23 minutes, but after having successfully led 2 teams through group content, I had some words for someone else.
You'll be the better hunter.
Do you actually think you'll be the better hunter? Oh, dude, I'm gonna smash.
Ampi.
Yeah, don't worry about me. I just want to show you something, okay? This is what you're up against. We're talking about clearing MC.
Now for those of you non-WoW players, his response in the form of a flex was not only like repping a proud badge of unintentional celibacy, but it was also pretty much the equivalent of showing that he scored a 1600 on his SATs, and effectively no one in the world has done better. But what he didn't know was what he was up against.
Dude, yo, Rav is, what the fuck? This guy Rav is juiced.
That's right, a blushing hunter who may or may not have run out of arrows and had to resort to playing melee hunter for half the dungeon, to which I still top charts, bitch, so all I'm saying is it's going to be lonely at the top, for me. Meanwhile, my other guildies were throwing a raging house party in Goldshire when Papa Soda was out of town, and considering the amount of drugs and sex that was taking place, some of the officers were not happy.
We are in OnlyFans, man. Take some pride in that.
And as a role model in this guild, I just want to say I don't condone this partying behavior, and I'm disappointed in anyone who was
He's
there
dancing.
instead of leveling. And seeing how our fearless leader knew I was grinding my short dwarf dick off instead of partying, he met me deep in the moist marshes and gave me a gift.
Oh shit. That's a good weapon. That's epic. That's purple. You see purple?
I didn't know how to
That's
thank
crazy.
him, and all I could think of was to show him that when he said,
Target dummies are required.
I listened.
I listened. I made
Now,
this.
since I know my audience isn't all WoW geeks, let me explain the reason why I was jizzing my pants over this item. For starters, it was purple quality, which outside of some rare super virginity scenarios is the best type of item you can get in the game, and second, it was a weapon. The combination of these two things meant that it would sell for over $1 to a local bow connoisseur, and I'd be 1% closer to getting my mount.
No.
Farewell.
It was also around this time that I hit level
Why didn't he
30.
want it?
This meant I could meet up with a slender male
He's totally gonna. You can buy stuff back. He's totally gonna buy.
Oh, got it.
You would never, ever,
Got it, got
ever, ever. So there's also another.
Just push play.
Oh, okay.
elf sex doll in the middle of bumfuck Ashenvale to learn an ability called Feign Death. And the best way I can describe why this is valuable is that I can now tell a diabetic deformed penguin that his chick has a fatty and then be like, "Op, just kidding homie," and he won't want to beat me up anymore.
That's Feign Death.
If people want to ignore
Pretend
Howard
he's
and his
dead.
contributions, I can now let them hit voicemail and say, "You will be dealing with my pig from now on." Anyways, I had one final
That's funny.
piece of business in this fantasy land forest, and that was to finally help my homeboy cure his daughter
Oh my God, they're
stripper
still
lover of her
there?
AIDS. He claimed this was finally the medicinal fix to her whoring around. I wasn't impressed, but I couldn't stay any longer as I had to meet up with a few guildies for an organized coup against the civilized pigs in the Razor Fen crawl. But as we were waiting, I was presented with a proposal. A
No.
duel to the death, guilty versus guilty. Losers
No!
will have to delete their character. These are strictly prohibited in the guild, as the one and only time this happened before. Dad's reaction went something like this.
You're both at fault. You are both at fault. I do not give up. Why?
Right.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna go.
And after sinking
I
over
agree.
50 hours of game time into this character, there was only one thing to do.
What? He's dueling!
Why? Why do they even make it that players can kill each other? No, he's not.
Feign death.
Some may call it the start of a villain arc. Others may say it was heartless. But everyone will now respect Rav's wrath.
You have to do what you have to do.